Hi, and welcome back to Musicians Edition Practice with me for alto saxophone. I'm your teacher, Risa, and today we're working in the Standard of Excellence Book 3, and today we're on page 24, looking at the classical period still. We're going to be working on an actual song today. So first, we're going to be looking at 90 cadences, okay? So we're just going to, the cadences with chords. Okay, and it's a little confusing as saxophonists because we're not really hearing the chord when we're playing by ourselves, but there's the cadence of 1, 5, 1, 1 being like the root, 5 being like the fifth. There's a lot of theory stuff, a little more to do, like if you're composing, hearing, theory, piano helps a lot more, but just so you know real quick on what cadence is. So let's just go ahead and play this. We'll use it as a nice warm-up to listen to our tunes here. I got my cord wrapped around here. Here we go. Okay, there we go. Let's start with the bottom. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent job. Nothing too complicated there. Now let's both play the top part. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent job. Still pretty easy, right? Yeah, it's just all about listening. So now let's divide the parts. You stay on top, I'll do bottom. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, excellent job. Let's swap parts. This time you do bottom, I'll do top. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, excellent job. Okay, now let's go ahead and take a look at our actual piece, Rondo. It is a full band arrangement, as you can see from the text, and this is from Franz Joseph Haydn, okay, which is one of our classical composers, okay, he's a big one. In this piece here, we're going to be working on the form ABACA, okay, you can see that on the top. And if you remember from a couple of our previous lessons, we talked about ADA patterns and whatnot. This is pretty much the same thing, just we're throwing in a couple more, okay? So we're going to have A pattern, a B pattern. We're gonna go back to that A type pattern. Now we have a C pattern and then ending on the A pattern, okay? So everything's working on patterns and very heavy on rhythms in this piece, okay? You'll also notice we have a lot of repeats. So you might want to just take a quick note on where they are and where they go to, okay? Lots of repeats in this piece. All right, so why don't we go ahead and start on the top part, okay? And just so we're all playing together. All right, let's go ahead and let's just sight read this and see where we go from there. All right, we are in 2, 2, 1 sharp. Here we go. 1, 2. All right, excellent job. So it could be very easy to, I don't want to say forget where you are, but follow along with those repeats. Okay, but you can hear these different sections and how they change, right? So in the A section, we're going to be able to get that down and have that down really well because there's 3 times in there. And that's not even including the repeated times, okay? So why don't we break this down section by a section, okay? So like I said, it's very rhythm heavy in this piece, okay? So we're first starting off with the 8th connected to the 16th. A good one to think of for this is coconut. Coconut 2, and coconut 2, 1, rest. Okay, so think of coconut for those, because it's going to be long, short, short. Coconut, da, 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 da. All right, so let's just work on this top line here. All right, here we go. Ready? I'm going to count us in 1, 2, then we're going to rest for that 1, 2. Full line. And you know what? Let's go ahead and repeat so we can really get it down. 1, 2. All right, excellent job. Hopefully the coconut helps. At 7, kind of watch your rhythms there too. We have 16ths, 1 and a 2 and 1 and 2. Okay, if you need to slow that down, do so. Okay, Okay, but it just kind of goes down one by one, so that is helpful. All right, let's do it again. This time we're going to add in our dynamics. Notice at 5 we're going to get nice and soft. Okay, 6 right back into mezzo-forte, excuse me. 7 we're going to decrescendo down to mezzo-piano. All right, let's do it again. Also with repeats, with dynamics this time. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2. All right, excellent job. So 5 does come right in, right at soft, so there is a drastic dynamic change there. If you keep missing it, take a pencil and circle it in. Same thing with the repeat, if you keep missing the repeat. All right, now we're on to 9, looking at the B section, okay? B section goes right on to A section at 17. So we'll stop right before 17, okay? So just the B section right now. Okay, and then here you still have to watch your rhythms, okay, with those dotted quarters to the 8th, and then our coconut rhythms again, some 16th runs. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2. Perfect. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and do it again. This time add in the dynamics. We do have dynamic movement in this too. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2. All right, perfect. And on that in there, it is a full quarter to an 8th, so it's not. We'll hold that out. Hold that quarter out to its full duration. Okay, let's go on to A section, 17 now, okay, and this should feel very familiar as it is back to our A section, okay? So let's go ahead and we're gonna play this one line to 24, then we're gonna stop. All right, ready? We are gonna play, starting it right at 17. 1, 2. All right, now we have the repeat. Where does this repeat take us to? This repeat takes us back to the B section. So you're probably going to want to circle this repeat, and I'm going to mark 9. Okay, when we sight read this together, I kind of got a little lost with where do I go? Okay, so more than likely you did too. I don't have time for a bunch of mistakes until so let's write it in and we'll get it over with. Okay, so now we're going to go back to 9 and we're going to play right before the C section at 25. All right, here we go. Ready? That also means dynamics. We've done this before. 1, 2. All right, excellent job. All right, and remember, if there was any of that was too fast, take time to slow that down. You can clap it out, taw it out, do note by note, fingers, whatever you need to do, and then once you start getting it, then start speeding it up. Okay, moving on to 25. We're now on to a C section, so this is going to sound different than the other two we just played. As you can see, it's a little longer, not like longer, I mean like we're playing half notes and quarter notes instead of eighths and sixteenths. All right, so it's a little more relaxed. There we go, that's how I'll say it, more relaxed. All right, here we go. 1, 2. All right, and we'll stop right there because now we're on to the next section. So C section is also longer as well, okay? So nothing really complicated here. 31, remember your coconut rhythm. And I think that's about it. 38, we do have a B flat, so you might want to circle that flat if you've been missing it. Other than that, I think we're good. So this time, let's play it with the dynamics. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2. Excellent job. The dynamics here can be a little challenging because they're kind of drastic. From piano all the way up to mezzo-forte, back down to piano, forte, piano, back to mezzo-forte. Like there's a lot. Okay, so it should sound pretty drastic. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and move on to 45, back to the A section. This should feel nice and comfortable. So let's go ahead and do a 45 and then stop at the repeat. All right, I'm counting us in right at 45. 1, 2. All right, excellent job. Little bit of a variation here at 51. Got the octave and then just the eighths, okay? Now, we do have a repeat with that first ending we just completed. Where does this repeat take us to? This repeat takes us back to C section, so 25. I'm gonna mark that in because that's the one that most people get lost on the most, right? Because we're used to, the other ones were like kind of close together. This one has a much bigger gap, okay? So I'm marking it in, 25. So let's do that. Now we're gonna do 25. We're gonna play all the way through 45, take that second ending, and then we'll stop after that rest on the second ending. Okay, ready? Don't forget to put your dynamics in. 1, 2. All right, excellent job.
This lesson is brought to you by the Musician's Edition practice book. Make goals and keep track of progress throughout the whole year. When you're done with this video lesson, don't forget to mark this practice time in your Musician's Edition practice book. Now back to the video.
Now we can finish out the piece, 54 to the end. All right, here we go. 1, 2. Then And there we have it. So just make sure you're playing those coconuts all the way through 57 to 60. Coconut, 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 coconut. Okay? So that is that. So let's go ahead and play beginning to end with all our repeats to make sure we remember where they go. All right, here we go. Ready? I'm starting us then right at 1, so we are going to do those rests. Any other rests we see, we are doing. Repeats we are doing. Don't forget your dynamics. All right, here we go. 1, 2. All right, excellent job on that. Now, if you're a person who is on part 2 or wants to learn part 2, now we're going to learn the bottom part, okay? So, part 2. We have a lot of things in unison and divided, but I believe all the rhythms are the same, so that helps tremendously. Looks like we're mainly playing a third down, just for a little bit of harmonies, okay? So we're still going to be doing the coconut 2, and coconut 2. Lots of coconuts. All right, so let's go ahead and play this all the way through, beginning to end on the bottom part. Ready? 1, 2. Alrighty, excellent job. So part 2, we'll still break it down. We just won't do the repeats as much as we practice through. So let's look at the top line, okay? Let's just go ahead and play. Nice and slow. 1, 2. Okay, so that's what we have. Just make sure you're looking down at the bottom. In measure 4, we're going down to up, okay, because those sixteenths are still part of what we're playing. We're unison there. So we'd have divided, unison, divide, divide. Okay, so now let's do it again. This time we're going to add in our dynamics. Here we go. 1, 2. All right, excellent job. So we would repeat normally, and that repeat would take us to the beginning. All right, but time's sake, we'll move on. All right, on to section B. Gonna sound a little differently here. So let's go ahead and play just section B at 9. Ready? 1, 2. All right, there we go. So most of this is together. 13, we have the one note, and then 15, we also have the one note. All right, and 16, make sure we do, okay, because that A is on the beat. Just take it off short. All right, 17. Now we're going back to section A, so this should feel fairly comfortable. Ready? 1, 2. All right, excellent job. Now this section we would repeat at 9, so mark that in. All right, for time's sake, we're gonna go on to section C at 25, all playing the lower parts. Okay, and section C is pretty long, so we're gonna go 25 all the way to 45. Here we go, 1, 2. All right, excellent job. So a few things to look out for here. 31 throws a little people off, just the intervals. Okay, so you might need to just do that slowly a few times just to kind of get that under your fingers. Okay, a lot of people want to go back to B when we're really just going to G. 33, make sure we see those and play those sharps at 33 and 34. Okay, and then at 42, we have F sharp. All right, so mark those in if you missed them. Going on to 45, back to section A, should feel pretty comfortable. Stop at the repeat. 1, 2. All right, excellent job. Where does this repeat take us to? Takes us all the way back to the C section at 25. So you're probably gonna wanna mark that in. That one gets missed a lot. So let's actually go back to the C section. Then we're going to play second ending and then we'll stop. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2. All right, excellent job. Now all you have to do is finish it off, okay? Bottom part. 1, 2. Alrighty, and there we have it. Just remember 57 to 60, coconut, coconut, coconut. Okay? So now let's go ahead to do let's go ahead and do beginning to end with all dynamics and the repeats. Bottom part. All right, here we go. 1, 2. Alrighty, excellent job. So no matter whether you're playing the top part or the bottom part, this does go faster than what we practiced here today. So make sure you master it even at this speed and then start speeding it up. Your metronome is going to be your friend during these practice ones just to make sure you get in on time. I know we didn't work on that today, but I wanted us to really hear the coconut rhythms, and it can be hard to hear with the metronome when we're listening. All right, but now that you kind of know how it goes, pull up those metronomes, master the tempos, the dynamics, the rhythms, and then start speeding it up. All right, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know down in the comments. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, notify, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our practices. Thanks for joining, and until next time.